Part 14. But just look at the beauty of nature. The heavens are overcast at this moment. I just wanted to capture this moment. How beautiful nature is. Part 14. So, I was told that I cannot stay with Mama Tida anymore because I'm now expelled from going to school and living with her because she has no other school to send me. Other schools are too far away, and I have to go back home to my mother. So I cried, like I said, and wasn't happy that I had to go back home to my mother. At this time I already had said, the relationship between my mother and I don't want to say I was afraid of her, but I was afraid of her because of the abuse that I used to go through with her. So I had to muster up and said, okay, I'm going back home to my mother. So that very weekend, all my clothes were packed and they came and they got me, took me back up to the house. And now this time I think I was on holiday because I was at the house until they got me enrolled in Santa Cruz All Age. I think that's the name, or it's Santa Cruz Primary or Santa Cruz All Age. That's where I was enrolled to go. Santa Cruz All Age. So before this, we had the time, the holiday, and the talk about taking me to meet my dad. I was 10 years old. So I was excited and nervous. I think it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday evening. Saturday afternoon, because we had to drive all the way from St. Elizabeth all the way to Kingston. And I was excited. I picked out my dress. I combed my own hair. I remember I had gotten this yellow dress. So I was like, I want to look pretty to meet my dad. I want to look very pretty. I want him to see me looking very pretty. So I put my hair into two and told myself I'm gonna get my yellow ribbons and tie my hair and plait my hair down like this because I could tie my hair underneath my neck. And so I put my hair into two and I used my yellow ribbons and just told myself that I'm going to see my dad. Finally, I'm going to meet my dad today. I was nervous, but I was happy, and I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to finally see this man. She got word that he's here, and for certain this time he's here, and I will see him today. I remember when she took me to visit up by Kingston, and I think at the another studio. This was not Oneness Plaza. This was a studio in Kingston, and right now the name is not coming to me. I remember that she had taken me there, I think when I was 8 years old. Yes, when I was 8, before I went to Mama Tida. We had went there to visit, and someone told her that he was off the island, and I guess she had found a way to keep in touch with that person, and that person told her as soon as he's here, he was going to make sure to let her know. And that person had contacted her and tell her, yes, he is here in the country and he's at home. And yeah, so she knew that this trip, she said, you are going to see your dad today. He is here. And I was like, okay. We drove from St. Elizabeth to Kingston, like I said. We got to his house. My stepfather parked on the side of the road. She sent me in. She said, go through the gate and go knock on his door and tell him who you are. So I said, okay. When I got there to the house, I went through the gate as I was told to do. And I knocked at the door. And I was standing there patiently waiting. And the door was open. And I saw this young lady open the door. And I was looking at her. And I was saying to myself, this my sister? And she said, hi, in an English accent. Who are you? She's like, who are you? And I said to her, I'm here to see my dad. And she's looking at me like, what? So then I said, are you my sister? And she said, what is your name? So I told her my name. I said, my name is Kadisha. She said, okay, hold on. And she said, come with me. So she walked me into the house. And she told me, when I got into the house, she told me to sit down on the side. And the living room was really empty with lots of Egyptian looking mats. And I saw my dad, he was praying. And I was looking at him and I was like, oh my God, there's my dad. But he was praying. I remember he was praying and he was finishing up his prayer. And she told me to sit and wait. And when he finished up his prayer, he came over to me and he looked at me and he's like, who are you? And I said, you're my dad. And he's like, what? Wait, what? He said, what you said? Like he's like trying to figure out what am I talking about? And I said, you're my dad. And I was looking at him and I was like trying to read him. Like, you know, because I told you that I have this thing where I could read people. And I'm reading my dad and I'm like, look, he's looking confused. And I'm like, why is he looking like so confused? Like he's not trying to, I'm like, he doesn't look happy. I'm like, oh no. So he said, come, where's your mother? Where's your mother? So I said, she's outside. He said, okay, come with me. So he walked with me outside and then my mom was coming through the gate. And he's like, what is this? What is this supposed to be? What is this supposed to be? So I'm like looking and my mother said, this is your daughter. She said, you don't remember me? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, he looked at her and he said, yeah, I kind of remember you. He said, you wanted to be a singer. And she's like, yeah, but you forgot what happened that night? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God, it looks like it's going to be a fight. So I was like, oh no, this doesn't look like it's going to be. So I run now and go find a tree in the yard and I stand up behind the tree just like you see now. I'm like this. So I found a tree. And at that time, my dad didn't have his yard as private as he has it now. There was no wall. So all the cars that are driving, they're seeing some people say, I see Jimmy Cliff there. And my mother start, yes, I was only 14 years old. And she starts upon the top of her voice. And, you know, again, she used that word, the 4-letter word. And she said, yes, me, they only 14. You never stop to ask how old me be. You forget. And she had gone and him like him stand up there shouting on him. He's embarrassed and he's like looking at the people walking past on the road and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm not embarrassed and I'm hiding behind a tree. My poor stepfather, he's just like looking, he's leaning up on his car outside of the side of the road. But I'm trying to see my mom and my dad trying to have this whole thing going on between them. And he's standing there and he's like, no, I did not, that word. I did not. And she's like, yes, you did. I didn't give you any consent. And she said, that's what came out of it. Sarah dear, come here. She'll call me, come over here. And then I'm still hiding behind the tree. And she's like, Kadisha, I call you, come over here. So I had to go over there now because I'm like, I don't want her to be mad at me. So I'm just like, okay, I'm taking my time and I'm just like walking and taking my time. And I'm like, I feel like I want to cry. And I was like, I was trying to hold back the tears, but I was like, this is not going well. This is not how I was dreaming for it to be. This is, I was hoping that I was gonna run to my father and hug him up, and he's gonna hug me up and say, yes, my daughter, I met my daughter. And that's my dream. Not this. This wasn't what I was asking for. Not in my lifetime. And they're back and forth with each other, and he's like, why do you take so long? If I had a child, why do you take so long? She's like, this is not my first time I try to come bring her to you. This is not the first time I tried to bring her to you. What are you talking? You're always out of the country. You're always out of the country. And I'm standing there and just looking at the two of them, because now he's right here standing and she's right, and I'm right here just looking at the two of them now. And she's like, look on her, that are your picnic, she dead stamp on you. And and he's like, I don't think so. And I was looking at him like, oh my God, my dad don't think I look like him. And I was like, oh no, this is not going good. I don't like this at all. But anyways, I'm still looking at him because I was like, oh, my dad is short. Like in my mind, I'm like, because my mom's husband is very tall. Like that man is like 6 feet 4 inches tall man. So I'm like, oh, my dad is short. Like I'm looking at him and like, my dad is short. My mother is also short. So I was like, oh wow, you know, like I'm like in my mind, I'm still observing my dad, and I'm still like looking at him, and I'm like, that's my dad. Like I'm trying to feel this connection in him to me. That's all my interest was. I'm trying to feel that connection. So I keep staring at him, and he's talking to my mother, and he's like, well, why you took so long to bring her to me? Why you took so long? He's like, you've robbed me of the early stages. Like I would like to be able to have played a part in changing her diaper, and I would have liked to play a part in upbringing her. This is important to me. He's explaining that to her, and I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at him like, I'm like, he's making a point. But I was like, she's making a point. I remember she tried to bring me, but you wasn't here. And then in my head, I was like, you didn't know that I was also in foster care? Like, I'm like, I don't think he knew I was in foster care. So I was just like, in my mind, I was going through all these things, just looking at them. And I was like, she called me over here, but none of them paying me no attention. They're just back and forth, yelling and screaming at each other. And I was like feeling so sad. And then he said, I don't think she's my daughter. I think you're lying. When he said that, I just bust out crying. And then he looked at me, and he realized that I was right there when he said that. And I was like, my mother don't love me, and my dad don't love me. Part